Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Wanted to throw up a video showing a recap of our win totals from this off season. I know a lot of you maybe have seen our channel, or maybe you subscribe to our channel because of our off season content, and we put a pretty big emphasis on win totals. And I just kind of wanted to go through and sort of toot our own horn a little bit because I think we did pretty solid this season, and let's get into it. The final results from the SEC win totals you can see here. Again, keep in mind these win totals are based off of just the regular season only. So conference championship and bowl games, playoff games, none of those matter. So this was only based off of the 12 regular season games that every team had scheduled. And for the SEC, you can see starting off here, not the greatest, but not terrible. If you look at the final results here, we went 13-15, negative 4.25 units, which ends up being a negative 13% return on investment, which is not ideal. It's not terrible. You could see that we really didn't do so well on particularly the SEC West. Zan actually did pretty well over in the SEC East, but we had some big misses. I know Missouri fans gave us a lot of flack for picking the under. They proved us wrong in that one. We were pretty adamant about Auburn being under 6 wins. That ended up being true. And I think one of our other biggest misses was maybe Alabama. They surprisingly lost 2 games. We did not think that was even possible. Texas A&M, I think everybody whiffed on them. And then I think we were pretty high on LSU. We both had LSU over 7. We were also really high on Tennessee as well. I think that was also something that we got right. So overall, I think it could have been better, but not terrible for the SEC. And so the Big Ten, I think surprisingly we did very well in the Big Ten. Our best performing video was the Big Ten West win totals. That video got a lot of views, got a lot of comments. We had a lot of angry Iowa fans in those comments saying that we were disrespecting Iowa and doubting them for taking the under 7.5. And hey, I'll give them credit. Iowa made it close. They almost eclipsed this win total over, but they were under by just a half a game, so you're right on that. And really our only biggest miss was Wisconsin. We both were over on them at 9 wins. And other than that, we did pretty well. In fact, I'm in the S column. I did very well in the Big Ten West. We got a lot of comments on that video. A lot of people saying that we were wrong for doubting their teams. And I know I went 6-1, so I ended up doing pretty well for that specific division, which is pretty hard to predict year in and year out. And then outside of the West, over in the East, I'd say Zan and I both were pretty low on Michigan State. We were correct about that. And then we were both pretty high on Maryland. That was one of our best bets, was the Maryland over 6 wins. Got that at 5.5 at some books, and we were correct about that. So overall for the Big Ten, a solid 64% against the number, almost positive 7 units, and a 27.5% ROI. I'm pretty satisfied with that. With the ACC, boy, this is rough. The ACC was easily our worst conference. We knew going into it that this was going to be a hard conference to predict, and man, we whiffed badly on some of these teams. You could see we were pretty low on Florida State. They ended up having a good year. We did get Boston College under. Thought that was a pretty set in stone. Louisville over 6 wins. That was one of our best bets. We were pretty high on that, but man, Syracuse under 4 wins. They proved us wrong. Syracuse ended up being a pretty solid team. The Miami under 8.5. Granted, we both had over, but I think a lot of people expected Miami to be good. I think one of my more confident bets was the Virginia under, so I'll take Zan. I'll get a leg up on him there, but he also was very confident in the North Carolina over 7.5 when I wasn't, so a good nod to him there. And then, man, Duke under 3.5 wins. That was by far our biggest whiff. That's like whiffing, missing by 3 feet, and then falling on your face after your swing. That was Duke. The ACC was really not a good conference for us. 10-18, yikes, negative 10.7 units, negative 33 return on investment. Easily our worst conference, but it gets a lot better from here for us. The Big 12, a lot better. I think the Big 12, Zan and I both know this conference pretty well. I in particular did very well. I went 8-2 on the Big 12. I think outside of Oklahoma, which we struck out on, but I think a lot of people would have had the over on them. A lot of people were high on this Sooners team. It was pretty surprising to see them only go 6-6. I, out of principle, got Zan on the Texas under, though I think Texas easily could have hit this over. They were pretty unlucky this year. And then Oklahoma State, Baylor, we saw a lot of downside with those 2 teams. Those fan bases gave us a little bit of flack for that. Kansas State over, we were both high on Kansas State. TCU over, we were high on them as well. I mean, we pretty much nailed the Big 12 almost to a T. Texas Tech also got us, though, I will say, but we were pretty high on Texas Tech going into the future. We just didn't think that it would all come together this soon. And then the Kansas over, I got Zan there with Kansas. I was pretty high on Kansas. I was very confident in this over. That was one of my best bets. So overall for the Big 12, 14-6, 31% ROI, very good. We know this conference very well, and I'm pretty proud of our results. The Pac-12, boy, we killed it in the Pac-12. ZKS joined us there. His results there at the bottom. Him and Zan, both on this video, 9-1-2 each. We absolutely killed it. You can see, outside of maybe UCLA, we pretty much killed it, man. I mean, from Arizona State and then the whole right side of the screen there, Oregon State over. We were all in unison on all of these teams, and we were correct on every single one of them. We really nailed the Pac-12 to a T, and I think this is a conference that many people would think this would be an area of struggle, but I think the sports books were pretty off with some of these lines, and all of us agreed on it, and we were correct. So you look at these lines here, the combined results, 25-5-6 from all of us combined, a whopping 19.25 units, and then a 72.5 return on investment. I mean, that is Hall of Fame numbers right there. We nailed the Pac-12. And this conference, not a conference that a lot of people pay attention to, but man, betting-wise, you can really, really be profitable. There's some hidden gems here in these sportsbooks win totals, and very proud of our Pac-12 results. And then the G5, we decided to do the win totals of the 14 highest G5 win total lines at the time of that recording, which is back in June. So we didn't do all of the G5 and independents, but you could see Zan was not joining us for this video. ZKS filled in for him. And overall, I'd say that we did pretty solid. I was above 500 there. I did get lucky on a few of those. And these were pretty hard to do. Doing the G5 teams was pretty hard all in all. I'd say I got pretty lucky with the Fresno State under. They really should have hit that win total if Haener had not got hurt. As far as some other teams, the best bet was Louisiana under 8.5. That was ZKS's big bet, and yeah, that was easy. We both saw that one coming. We were pretty high on UTSA, and yeah, I'd say overall we did very well on this. The combined results, 57% against the number, plus 2.5 units, and then a 9% ROI. Not complaining at all there. And now let's look at the stats in the aggregate. You can see I broke this down by each of us three individually and then by conference. Outside of the ACC, where we just did terrible, the SEC, we could have done better, but outside of that, we did very well. We definitely knew what we were doing. We put a lot of time and effort into that, and you could see the final stats at the bottom. 91, 61, and 16 between the three of us combined, plus 20.85 units and a 12% return on investment. So if you had blindly tailed every single over or under play that we had made for the entire, every Power 5 team and the G5 and independents we covered, you would have made a 12% profit on your investment, and we were pretty proud of that. I just did this to show that overall, we were right more often than we were wrong. So next year when we do this, we're going to do this for the 2023 season, of course, again, put out videos like we did last year. ZKS is going to join us for all three of those. So we're going to go hard in the paint, we're going to get in the lab, and we're going to make sure to put up these numbers again. And we're going to put out our best bets. If you follow our best bets, we did pretty well. In fact, with my personal bets, I went 19-4-1. I was up 18 units, and I had about a 56% ROI, which is very good. Probably won't be able to do that well again. I had a lot of things go my way, granted, but if you know what you're doing, you could put up these numbers and you can be profitable against the sports books. So once again, thank you guys for watching this video. Just sort of wanted to throw this out there to give ourselves a little bit of credibility. I know it's a small channel. I know not most of you probably don't care about sports betting, don't really care about win totals and futures markets and stuff like that. But for those of you that do, here you go. This is how we did. Stats don't lie. Numbers don't lie. It's our little credibility video right here. So without further ado, we'll see you later and have a great day.